episode 265 Global from Asia. There has been an acquisition.
Welcome to the Global from Asia podcast, where the daunting process of running an international business is broken down into straight-up, actionable advice. And now, your host, Michael Michelini.
Okay, everybody. Doing my little intro here before we get into the interview. Still here in Manila. Going to the airport soon. Just in the quiet little office. Not little, decent office. And if you follow our Instagram, I got a picture on Mike Michelini username Instagram. I logged in after a year. I've been a little bit on the DL the last year. It's been a really weird kind of year. About a year, probably. About a year ago, I was looking for a new place to live. Picked Thailand, schools, immigration there. Sisitano, we've had, it's technically Power Living Inc., but of course the main brand is Sisitano. And there's, I've been moving it around. I mean, there's been so much turnover of management, and I think this is the best deal for the shareholders. Of course, I am a shareholder, and people have been asking for updates. There's been comments on my YouTube and in emails, and people even want to get involved, and I feel like we needed to update everybody, and there's been talks with the partners. It's been a really emotional week for me, to be honest. I'm here in Manila for about a week, and it's not the end, but it's a new start for Sisitano and the Amazon business in the Ecommerce Gladiator series here at Global from Asia. It's been actually 2 years since it launched, so we bring Marc Roca, who is also at a time the CEO of Sisitano, and he's the president and co-founder of Alpha Rock Capital, which is a holdings company, future investment fund of Amazon businesses, and it's been acquisition of Sisitano. So I'll be joining the company here, and a lot of other things happening. And we talk about the story here, right? In the office while I was here, I had my Zoom H6 recorder and 2 microphones and everything, and we're doing it right here. And keeping everything real, keeping it real. We're just sharing, can't share exact numbers, but maybe in the future we'll talk about that. But there's some valuation models that Alpha Rock uses, as well as many others in the industry, and amazing things happening. So I think I'm trying to keep everybody happy, which in life is very difficult. But it's been a very crazy roller coaster with Sisitano for the last couple of years, and I know investors are listening, and friends are listening, and partners are listening, and I hope I can be everybody's friend still. But anyway, let's tune into the show. Are you doing businesses between borders and you need a cross-border legal help and IP help and trademarks and all of that? We have an amazing partner at crossborderip.com. It's a network of lawyers, mostly in the US, but around the world, that can help you doing IP transfer, registration, patents, and more. It's headed up by a lot of people I have huge respect for, and they will be supporting Cross Border Summit and this show, of course. We got a little plug here. If you need help with trademarks and patent help in the US and China, other parts of the world, and you want to deal with one firm that can do it all, as well as understands e-commerce and Amazon FBA, I definitely recommend checking out www.crossborderip.com, supporter of the show. Thank you so much. All right, thank you everybody for tuning in to another Global from Asia podcast. This has been one that's been in the works for a couple of months. I know a lot of people have been asking for the updates of the Sisitano business and what we've been up to in there. So I'm in Manila, Philippines at the new office of Alpha Rock Capital, which many of you remember Marc Roca. He's partner in the Sisitano, but he's working on something much bigger now called we're still working on the terms. Holding company is what I'm told. Is that right?
That's it.
Okay, we'll say holding company, investment company for, at least for right now, Amazon FBA companies. And I came here very last minute. I was in Bangkok last week. Listeners remember, and Mark's like, you got to come over here and see what's going on. And I think, Mark says it about himself. He knows he's a very fast mover. And I was like, okay. I was a little bit hesitant, honestly, but I came over, and I'm glad I did it. I met the partners, and I saw all the massive spreadsheets of hours, or I don't know how many days or weeks of work that those spreadsheets have been. But so we basically, the big news for listeners is we've merged had Sisitano Technically Power Living acquired by this investment company, holding company. Sorry. We want to call it a PE fund, but that's not yet allowed to be called.
No, it's a hybrid. Right now, it's a startup that acquires Amazon FBA businesses and also Amazon associates in the near future. And we're just starting out and building our track record. So
yeah, so
let's say we're in startup mode for the next 18 months.
Sure.
Once the model has been proven,
sure,
we can move on to more like private equity.
Okay, great. So let's back up a little bit. So I know we kind of haven't done we called the Ecommerce Gladiator series here at Global from Asia. We took a break from that late last year, and I know some people have been asking what's happening. So what happened, there's actually been a lot that's happened in 2019, but I think Marc got into the game of Amazon when, before Sisitano, you were buying a few other businesses. And
yeah, I bought the first one in May 2018, and then we bought the second one with my partner Vedast in July. And I had to learn how to manage the business, how to optimize it. We started building the systems, and in November I hired David, which is now the VP of operations, and he helped me finalize these systems and prepare for scale, and that's where we are right now. We just moved the operations to the US in July because we were based in Singapore, but due to the banking system being so slow.
Yeah, that's the problem. And
yeah.
We also had Hong Kong problems and Singapore problems, so yeah, I know.
So now we're based in the US and ready to scale, and we've been doing acquisitions left and right.
Yeah, so there's lots of opportunity for listeners to get involved. We can talk about some ways later. And so Dave, basically back to Sisitano, you did a great job in fourth quarter when you came on last year, and then you took you got less active because of this opportunity. So I think it was really seemed like you got, because we had met in person in October at DCBKK, and you had been working with Sisitano for a couple months before, and so I think you said January is something where really big happened in January this year.
Yes, basically in DCBKK, it's where David and I met for a second time, and where I was fooling around with the idea of just creating an acquisitions firm and buying profitable businesses. So over that quarter, it's when the ideas were finalized, and then in January is when we officially launched. And we had a capital increase in March, and we bought another business in March, and then all the banking woes, as I said, happened. And now we're in US, and US is great. We're partnered with Revision Legal, which is a top firm. And with their help, we're able to do what we want to do at a speed that is acceptable.
Yeah, I think just a note on that. I know of course I'm not as active as I used to be, but I'm still a partner in a CPA firm in Hong Kong, Unipro, with Ray. But yeah, the banking is just really hard in Hong Kong, and even Singapore. I don't know if you want to talk about the TransferWise issue.
Yeah, basically we were using TransferWise as the banking system, right? Because you can open the bank account really fast. And one day we just were heading out for dinner, and we got an email that they just had shut down all our accounts. Basically what they told us is they were deleveraging the risk, because we weren't paying much commission, because everything was USD to USD. So for transferring $10,000, we were only paying $1 in commission. And they say that's not what TransferWise is. So they prefer to just do the currency conversion. And it's fair to them, right? It's their business. They can do whatever they want.
Yep. So now I think one other thing to let listeners know is you're doing everything. We'll talk about me. We are trying to do everything legally, and there's no we're not trying to tax save or.
No, we're registered with the SEC. Everything goes through the proper channels. We have a top CPA firm that specializes in hedge funds. We have a bookkeeping firm that specializes in Amazon, Muse-minded. So, we started moving to the US. When that happened, that was April 4. And it took April, May, and June to finalize the legal document.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Because you have to explain what you want to do, and then you have to make sure what you want to do is possible.
Yep.
So by the end of June, everything was ready, and we incorporated in Delaware. And then we started operation and moved the assets on July 1st. So here we are, 1 month later. We're going to have the first monthly report on August 15th, because every month we're doing monthly reports and consolidation of accounts.
Great.
To know where we stand. And yeah, going back to Sisitano, I came in and we improved over those 6 months and the fourth quarter. And then I told Mike, look, my opportunity cost is really high to really spend so many hours on Sisitano. Can you take over? And then Mike took over, and he's been doing a great job. Alas, what happens is I see the opportunity cost and Mike's skills, which are amazing, and I'd rather have him apply his skills on a business that's selling $500,000 a month than a business that's only doing $10,000 a month.
Yep. So we had been talking about this for quite a few months. I think I remember maybe March when we first started talking about it, and I think it's it takes time, and then also there's other partners we've had on the show, and honestly, I'll give some. I think my wife is like my advisor, but I think it's also too many people involved in a business is also a dangerous thing. So, we made everybody happy. I think maybe we'll get some of the previous partners in the show, but we made a cash or equity deal offer, and there was some phone calls and negotiations with the current partners, Phil, Mayer, and Kadrian on it, and I finally had everybody. We wanted everybody to be comfortable and happy. We want everything to move forward, and it. So this show will be really fresh, but we, of course, especially there's some emotions. I believe everybody's happy, and hopefully some of them will come into this. They have the option of money or shares, so hopefully we get some of them joining in the in acquisitions firm holding company, and but I think everybody's happy. And so one thing I'm definitely like Mark said, I'll be the director of business development and content. So I've been here already in Manila helping with some videos of the different partners, and we're building the website's alpharockcapital.com. I don't know, when the show goes live it might not be so pretty yet, but we have some people working on that. But I think you can get a good idea of what's happening here with the history page and the team page. You can check all of that out. But that's one thing I've learned. I've been listening to some of the calls with some of the Amazon businesses selling their business and also some other deals, and I've learned I'm not the negotiator. I think we don't have either partner should be on this show. Maybe we'll get them in this show. We'll actually have a Alpha Rock podcast too. I'll be helping out with that. But I think in negotiating it's business and there's no emotions. So I think those are. I'll be focused more on the business development, and I'll be focused on the content creation and marketing. There's already 5. So let's talk about some of the investments. Maybe we can't reveal brands or too much, but maybe we can talk about.
We could speak about the negotiations about the Sisitano acquisition. Yeah. One thing that we've been learning, not just on Sisitano, also on other deals, it's when you start a business, you need to define the exit strategy and have it written down.
That is true.
Because then, as we said, there's emotions, and some of the partners say they've worked more than others, and then some don't agree, and then, it's complicated.
Yeah.
So for the listeners, if you're starting a business with a partner, make sure you have the exit strategy clear. Even you want to sell the business eventually down the line, or someone buys the business, or the other partner buys the business, or,
I think that's what Alpha Rock Capital is about. If you look at the website later, I'd love anybody's feedback. I support entrepreneurs, I support startups, but I think a lot of times we've noticed, you've been talking to a lot of these people selling their businesses, they get overwhelmed, there's a lot to do. They want me to take some cash out, they want to try something else, So I think you have to have your plan. What's your goal with starting an Amazon or any kind of business, and what the way you want to get out of the business is totally true what Mark says. So I believe everybody's mostly happy. I mean, we can't make everybody 100% happy, but I believe if anybody talked to the partners, they would be so satisfied at least, and we have good relations. So maybe do we want to talk about some of the strategy of what we'll do with Sisitano or in some of your other
So
ideas?
basically, the acquisition, we're buying out the assets, which is the trademark, and then the listings. So we're gonna transfer the Mocha Pot and the French press listings to one of our existing accounts, because it makes more sense for economies of scale to have more products in one account and not have so many Amazon independent entities. And then we're gonna keep growing it. Like Mike was working for new products for this
we got some
Q4.
new listings going.
And what Alpha Rock enables Sisitano is we have credit lines for inventory. So if we want to launch a 9-cup Mocha Pot, we have the money for
True.
it. If we want to launch another kind of French press, we have the money for it. So it enables having more businesses in a holdings company. It enables the business that is already grown, and it's just creating profit to funnel some cash to the businesses that are still growing and that have a huge possibility of growth. And it's the synergy of the cash flow that allows this massive growth.
Yeah, I agree. It kind of goes to the next point. I guess we call it a roll-up strategy.
It's a roll-up strategy. Basically, if you only have one business, when you're trying to sell it out, you're gonna get 2 to 3 times earnings. And if we have a holding company with 10 to 20 businesses, we can get a higher multiple, around 7, 8, 9 times.
Yep.
And then also the risk is diversified, because if one container goes missing, it's okay because it's only one container of one of the 10 businesses.
Yep.
So the revenue, of course, it still sucks.
Yep.
But the revenue doesn't take a huge hit.
Yeah, and like I said, I started looking. You kind of crack me up. You're buying some businesses and the websites are online because we're transferring the hosting or something. I'm like, get the web. But I guess right now we're not really focused on the web strategy, even though that's kind of my skill. But
that's why you're in.
Yeah, that's why I'm here. But we got the websites back online, and hopefully we'll leverage that. But still, it's still purely Amazon focused, probably for the foreseeable future, for now. But I think there's also some affiliate sites in the holdings.
Yeah, we're buying one that I own this month in August.
Okay.
It's coming into the holdings company this month, because even if we want to move fast, we have to follow strict timelines. It's 1 capital increase a month maximum, and that's how it has to be because of the filings with the SEC.
Yeah.
And things are not as fast as we would, but still faster than the normal M&A that takes 6 months.
Yeah, I think so. So like you said, just to back up a little bit. So the spreadsheets I don't think we can make public, unfortunately. But I guess if you're serious, you can contact Alpha Rock, and we have some investor relations guys here that will do a good job taking care if you're serious. But basically, every month for a few months, we're going to be raising money, and there's different and we're going to be growing very fast. And the idea is really using the same team, right? We have a lot of a great team in the Manila area, metro, and also other parts of the Philippines and other parts around the world. We have also some other partners of the firm that are like experts in different parts of online businesses, and we have a great team to leverage that. So, like I said, I love it. That's one thing I really like about it is we're moving fast. And like I'm grabbing a cup of coffee in the office, and I come back, and Mark's like, "We just bought another one, like a plates business or something." And then we're having dinner last night, and there's glass jars on the shelf, and I'm like, "Yeah, I think we own a glass jar company now."
Yeah.
So
it's the beauty of Amazon. You can buy the most random things, and they're making money. The latest acquisition is stainless steel containers, so it's a business that was started by 2 girls in Australia 2 years ago, and they just had babies in December, so they don't want to take care of it anymore. So in a sense, we're also like providing a service, which is an exit strategy.
Yeah.
So people get $50,000, $100,000, and then they forget about their Amazon business, and we're happy to take it because we can optimize it. Right now, this one was shipping still by air, so we're just gonna add it to our usual container, and it's gonna ship by sea, so the cost of goods go down 40%, almost straight away on the next order.
Yeah.
So
Makes sense.
everyone is happy, right?
And I think it fits a gap in the market. I mean, there's also a pitch deck that we have. Of course, that's also confidential or by request only. But in the deck, there's also the gap in the market. Like you said, we're buying businesses $50,000, $100,000. Like so if
up to 1 million.
Up to $1 million. So there's not much buyers in that market. Most buyers I'm learning this too, but I think are in the $1 million and above range.
Yeah, the private equity firms.
So we're kind of hitting that smaller size market, which seems like there's the biggest amount of businesses to be.
Because it's the one that are run by a single person, and due to cash flow constraints, they weren't able to scale it. Most of the businesses that we buy have never been fully stocked, basically because Amazon keeps eating your cash, right? Like it starts selling more and more every month. Like one of our products, when we launched it in July 2018, we were sending 100 units a month, and now we're selling 1,200 units a month. So that's 12 times the inventory, and that's inventory that you need to pay and send to Amazon every month.
Yeah. So I think that's one of I think there were 7 points I remember in a pitch deck, but we're trying to optimize. Of course, that seems like one of the most popular is people just don't have the cash flow, because that's one of the problems in Amazon or e-commerce is you got to finance the inventory, you got to have the money, and I think that's one of the advantages in this holding company is the economies of scale and the cheaper money, access to cheaper capital that the smaller business owners can't maybe get access to. So it's an exciting time. I'm looking at my outline, but basically for what's next for Sisitano, I think we'll add some variations. Like you said, on Mokapaa, we have some new listings. Of course, preparing for fourth quarter, just like many other businesses in this holdings company.
We fixed the pot problem.
We fixed the handle. Yeah,
that was a huge problem because basically it was the best-selling product for Sisitano, and then we had to remove it all.
Yeah, we had to remove it.
The sales went down because the algorithm of Amazon, if you have a lot of returns, they don't like you, so they rank you lower.
Yep.
But now it's been recovering. We fixed the PPC too, and we're ready for Q4.
So especially the reviews have been picking up, and if we add more variations on the same listing, you can leverage that. So I think that's one thing I've even learned the last week I've been here is adding variations is a great way to expand without even having a new listing. Just leverage the current listing.
Yes, new colors. Yep. New sizes. That's I think the easiest way to grow on Amazon, because people already trust your brand and your product.
Yep.
And then you just add an upsell instead of only 16 ounce. You add a 24 ounce too. So now they say, maybe I want one of each.
Yep. Okay. And then one other exciting thing is Cross Border Summit. Of course, everybody listening hears about this as it's building up. It's only a few months away, October 22nd and 23rd. And Marc will be there, and some of the other partners and active people in the firm will be there we'll try to tap into China. We have some pretty big Chinese sellers coming, and I'm actually excited. That's really what the meaning of Cross Border is about, is bringing different people from different borders in e-commerce and in import-export. So I'm really excited to have the support of Alpha Rock with the event, and you guys can meet them. And I can't wait. I'm already preparing people to introduce, because that's just, like you said, DCBKK and other events. Events is really a great way for deals to happen and making business. So
and you meet people that then might work along with you.
Exactly.
Right? That's the only way to validate, because most of us are doing online business.
Yep.
And that's where you meet, you hang out, you have dinner, you have drinks, and then you're like, dude, this David good. This David is good. So
awesome.
Here he is.
There he is.
Yeah.
And we make things happen. So it'll be great to see some listeners there. And
a funny story about Guangzhou.
Yeah,
I was there in May 2018, and that just for the Canton Fair, because I wanted to get it in Amazon. And the first acquisition went through. The next day I was in the factory because it was there. I didn't know where even the seller was, the supplier was located, and I just texted him and I'm in Guangzhou, 1 hour away. So we just took the bus and
there you go.
We went there and saw the factory, and now that supplier makes the product without sending any deposit. He just makes it, and he knows I'm gonna pay him. So
it's amazing, especially for a Chinese supplier.
Exactly. It's
Well,
great.
there you go. We have to go meet him again in
Excited
October.
to go back to China after
It's-
a year and a half.
Things move fast in China too. If you like fast, China's a place for that. So let's talk about Alpha Rock a bit. I mean, hopefully people have been learning. So basically, it's I know you put in your money. There are a lot of other partners. We rolled in Sisitano into it. There's a few other businesses. Maybe you want to share a little bit more about it and where it's at now, where we're gonna go.
Basically, we started tapping into friends and family first, and we finalized the first 2 capital increases, and we're now buying businesses with that money. And the next one will be in September to use the money in October to buy businesses.
Okay.
And it's going great. Like a lot of acquisitions at the same time, which means a lot of migrations, which makes the system of evaluating and migrating the businesses more efficient, because the more instances you have, the more flaws you can find and more refined the process is. And yeah, it's very exciting.
Great. Yeah. So then, is there? I know it's kind of a closed round for the next. I think it's already full, but like every month we seem, from what I understand, there's like a round. But I think even you say like sometimes I've heard, I'm not so involved in this part of it, but I heard like the September round's maybe full, or there's October round, and then.
So far, we haven't gone past the September round.
Okay.
And we already have a lot of leads
Great.
of people that want to invest. Basically, this next 6 months, we're going to finalize how to scale. Because right now, we are scaling and it's going fast. So we're finalizing everything. I'd say by the start of next year, it's when we can start taking in quite a lot more money.
Yep.
Because we also have, since we just moved to the US, we also have all the financials for at least 6 months. And that's going to be, people will see the growth, because the growth is there.
Yeah. I mean, I know that's one cool thing about you. You have you're not just talking, we're doing, and I think you have some big. You're like, I'm going to buy everything.
If the price is right.
Of course, if the price is right, but in that market, the small, medium-sized Amazon seller, which I think is listeners here and people in our community, which would be great to get them involved in this.
Because there's always room for improvement.
Mm-hmm.
If you buy a $5 million business, most of the time it already comes with the systems and the employees. So it's hard to see easy improvements. But for a business that's less than $500,000, there are quite a few people don't even use pay-per-click. So that's, if a business is not using pay-per-click, that's already a high consideration for an acquisition.
Mm-hmm.
Because we know, partnering with our agency, we can improve it 20%.
Awesome. Okay. Well, this has been a fascinating catch-up. I hope we got some people interested. I'm sure we'll keep everybody posted. And, of course, you can check out alpharockcapital.com to see and learn more. And there's a connect form. It's meant more for people wanting to invest right now rather than sell their business. But, of course,
we're open
to for most of those. And maybe if people want to join us, if they're talented people. But the main focus of the website, or the fund, right? Can't say fund, but the holding company is, getting people to, put some capital in. And I'm really excited. I think this is a great next step for Sisitano too. I think a lot of listeners probably understand the same, right? If you're starting Amazon businesses, you got to realize you got to have money. I guess Sisitano could have kept going on its own, or it could have raised more money. I know there's people even in our community that would have maybe invested in it, and we had people asking about it. But I do believe this roll-up strategy makes sense. I bet you listeners, we've even had some calls with some people selling their business, and they get excited about it when they're on calls about I think a lot of people will say, this makes sense, and I've also agreed in this. So thanks, Mark, for updating us. And this is hot off the press, this news. So thank you, everybody, for listening and being part of this journey.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Mark. So does this stuff sound exciting to you? Do you want to meet these people in person? A lot of our guests on the show and these deals we're doing, we're putting as much of these resources together at the crossbordersummit.com. Tickets have been open for a couple of weeks. You know what surprised me? It's an ad, but we've gotten some amazing Chinese sellers registering. I used to think Chinese people didn't want to pay for these events. Everybody says nobody's going to pay. They're paying full price. I really appreciate the support. I think the show is getting more popular in China than overseas, but if you are listening overseas and you want to come into Guangzhou, China during the Canton Fair and meet some amazing of the speakers, we got a huge lineup, 2 full days, plus if you want to upgrade to our mastermind VIP sessions, it's going to be totally amazing. 4th annual crossbordersummit.com/China. See you there. Thanks so much, Mark, for this. Today I don't think I'll have a blah blah blah, but maybe it will turn out to be a blah blah blah. I'm here. I'm bright and early. I came into the office. Could have worked in my Airbnb, but I decided to roll up into this office 6 a.m. and get this uploaded for Alvin to edit before I go onto an airplane. Man, there's no direct flights to Chiang Mai from Manila, so I gotta go Bangkok, hang out in Bangkok. Hope I didn't pick wrong airports, because there's 2 massive airports in this massive Bangkok. There's DMK and BKK, but I'm going to double check my itinerary. I hope I don't have to take a taxi across town urgently between flights. But anyway, it'll be mostly on the road. Today is Friday, August 2nd, 2019, as I record this. But I don't know. What do you guys think? It was an emotional week for me with Sisitano. There were some partners that didn't want to, quote unquote, give up, or didn't want to sell out, or have me take a job, or whatever you want to call it. I don't, of course, there's all kinds of different terms. There's acquisitions and merging and shares and cash and share, But I honestly think, like Mark said, having a clear exit strategy in any business is the most important. I mean, partners, I almost didn't listen to my first lesson. My first business in 2004, well, actually 2003, started selling. But, it's a lot of times it's just different people have different ideas. And it didn't really work. We didn't keep a full-time CEO on Sisitano. It's a smaller business. Maybe we should have raised more money. Or we should have had another investment round. But I think the biggest was an operator. We needed a full-time operator on the business. When Mayor and I brainstormed this in his living room about 2 years ago, about leveraging the community of global from Asia, about taking people that want to invest in Amazon and get exposure, and people that maybe don't have money or want to learn and hustle, and put those people together. And hey, Mike, I'm the connector. I'm the nice guy. I'm the dude that can get things happening, which is what I do. This is what I'm doing at Alpha Rock. This is what I'm doing at Global from Asia. This is what I do at Cross Border Summit events. This is what I do. This is what I am. I'm a connector. I'm a networker. I'm a marketer. I'm a content creator. I'm an artist. That's who I am. Was never able to successfully find somebody who was able to would be willing and able to hustle, quote unquote, for free, without a monthly compensation, and would also, be happy with, 20-25% equity in a business that had investment money to buy inventory. At least for me, I was never able to. I don't think anybody in the company's history of 2 years, I don't want to bring up personal names, but I don't think anybody was able to be fully committed to this project over the last 2 years. We've tried, but I think there's people that would love to do it, but they needed a monthly compensation, or maybe they were able but not interested. Maybe they felt like there's too many other. I remember some people saying too many other partners. What are these other guys doing? They're not really doing anything. Put some money in, and that's actually one thing at Alpha Rock. There's not going to be any partial ownership. It's 100% ownership, complete buyouts. That was the terms also with Sisitano. They could take equity. So the way the deal is going is it's going to be cash first, and then they could decide to use that cash to invest in Alpha Rock. Originally it was cash or equity, but things have been changing even since the interview. Just give everybody cash, then they can use that cash to invest into this, can't say fund yet, but that's the other thing I was really impressed. When I was talking to Mark before I came here, I was in Bangkok, and literally I had to lose my return ticket to Chiang Mai last week because I just directly flew here. Drinking coffee too. But I I directly flew here. I left, some partners felt like I was doing this behind some people's backs. I was trying to always be just transparent as possible, collecting feedback, collecting numbers, collecting everything, talking to people. So this did happen pretty fast. I did know for the last few months Mark was working on the investment company, and I knew that he wanted to, of course, have me work and join them and use my resources and skills, but also to consolidate and focus Sisitano into a bigger company, bigger resources. I mean, that is the beauty. Amazon businesses, I think the reason they're so profitable is they're very standard. We're joking. I think I said in the interview with Mark, literally while I've been here, there's been an acquisition of a plates company with using bamboo. But I mean, whatever, even the products might be totally different and random. I remember we had Greg Mercer and Jungle Scout on the show, and earlier in the E-commerce Gladiator series, I guess this is turning into a blah blah session, but he said it doesn't really matter what product on Amazon. You can just sell totally unrelated products. Whereas this time we tried to focus in a niche, maybe within a certain brand name, but you could still have an seller account selling all kinds of stuff, which I've been noticing. I've been learning a lot. I love to learn. I've been listening to these Amazon business owners selling their businesses, and Mark loves that, man. There's like speakerphone in the office, and there's a few of us in this office, and we're hearing these guys, and it's also true. I mean, I really believe that these small businesses, doing, from like $100,000 to $1 million in value are not appreciated. They're definitely undervalued. They're usually one or two owners operating it. We have freelancers. They don't really have full-time employees yet. I see these as a great opportunity because they're also stressed out. You can hear it. They're tired. They're out of stock and inventory. And that's the game in Amazon. You got to keep putting that money in to buy that inventory. That was like my first bar products business. That was one reason I exited in 2012. I was in $50,000. I financed it $25,000 to the bank. Bank America, 18%. Personally co-signed. They don't just let me do it in a company name. I remember that, So, and I'm same with Sisitano. It's overwhelming. You're sourcing from factories. You're financing inventory. You're waiting 2 or 3 months for the mocha pots to be manufactured. You're sending it for a month on a sea. You're hoping you don't run out of stock. So, one thing is Sisitano, we're going to add so many more variations on that one listing. It's just a few real listings. I'm working really hard adding more listings. Any seller listening knows the amount of effort that goes into creating a listing, launching a listing, especially when you're buying from China and manufacturing. Then there's these trade war tariffs. We don't know what's going to happen. So I think a lot of listeners say maybe your sellers wanting to sell out, Of course, like I said, some partners still call me a sellout, and that influenced the other partners to vote for this selling out. But I think it's going to make this more valuable long term. I think we could have stayed independent. We could have kept operating. I was really the only one operating the company for the last 3-4 months, and I realized I know the blood, sweat, and tears that's involved in operating an e-commerce business, an Amazon business. You're getting squeezed by your factories now there's these tariffs coming up, trade wars, there's the Amazon, there's the, price competitiveness. You need a team, you need a scalable model, and I do always believe. And we've even talked to other sellers selling out their business, and they hear about what Alpha Rock's working on. They're like, wow, this sounds interesting to me. They're interested. Maybe they'll take equity in the future. I don't think we're ready to offer shares in the holding company yet, but they're just getting cash. But I think they see the value in economies of scale because we're consolidating. Maybe even Sisitano, when I talked to Eno at Insight Quality, maybe we could combine that with some of the other brand products that ARC or Alpha Rock Capital has, and we could save money. And anybody doing logistics knows a full container is cheaper net than a LCL, a partial container, because you've got to, there's all these fees. These logistics companies nail you when you do a partial container because it is a little bit extra hassle for them. So we'll maybe fill up some Sisitano products with other shipments coming out of China from the Alpha Rock Capital's holdings, and that's what I believe in. And although the partners in Sisitano don't have to buy into the fund, they have the option to. I really truly believe in the spreadsheets. They are pretty aggressive, but I really do believe that buying a company for a few $100,000 that's doing good revenue, I think the revenue can be increased, but it's not just the top line that can be increased, it's the bottom line that can be improved. I've also seen these guys selling their businesses and they're buying from trading companies, they're buying from really overpriced suppliers, they're doing air shipments instead of sea shipments, they're not planning their inventory, there's just so much more optimization that can be done. So I really truly believe in this. I don't think I can even sell shares yet, not my shares, but sell to you guys. Of course, do your own due diligence. This is a highly risky thing, but doing business is high risk. So I'm not taking the cash from my shares. I'm putting it into Alpha Rock. It's very complicated. There's so much paperwork, but that was what impressed me when I came here. Marc was right to get me out here. I see, Veras is his business major partner, another poker player, and this dude is like a numbers machine. Like, he just doesn't even know about the Amazon stuff. He just looks at it like investment models, initial investment, monthly returns, and he's running spreadsheets on all the deals that we're looking to buy out. I'm really impressed with the organization and the good balance in the team. So I will keep you guys updated. I will help Alpha Rock start their own podcast where the plan is probably at least monthly updates about the fund. I can't keep saying fun. About the acquisitions firm or holding company, primarily of Amazon businesses, some affiliate sites. But that'll be more done on the Alpha Rock Capital podcast, which has not yet been fully launched. I did put a very small preview show. You might be able to find it in iTunes. But, of course, Global from Asia will be continuing to go. They'll be supporting, of course, and sponsoring. They're also sponsoring and supporting the Cross-Border Summit. I think there's huge opportunity with Chinese sellers. I think there's huge opportunity with bridging China e-commerce and Amazon with the international market. So I can't wait to make some amazing intros of Marc and the team at Alpha Rock. We have some huge Chinese sellers speaking at the event, like Patrick Zhang, who's been on the show. Hi, Zhang. Wilson, some others that are, huge, and they don't know anything about what's happening in Southeast Asia with all these foreigners. I'm a foreigner, non-Chinese, so I'm really looking forward to being able to leverage that and bridge more. So this is like the announcement podcast. Marc was saying, I don't think we were showing off there. I'm like, no, I mean, there's just, millions of dollars in this company, and they're just going to be used to deploy into Amazon businesses and scale. So that's what I like. I mean, we're not showing off. We're just executing, moving fast, and making things happen. So it was a pretty fast deal with Sisitano that got the vote passed, and I believe everybody's happy. Of course, people will have their stories and mine, but I think anybody listening believes me. I'm trying my best to keep everybody happy, move forward. I don't want to leave people behind, and we made a decent deal. I think everybody's happy. That's it. At least I hope. And let's just keep on rocking. And maybe some listeners will get involved with what we're doing here. There's so many opportunities, selling their business, investing in the fund, holding company, maybe joining us. I know there's a lot of hustlers there that want to work, come out to Asia. There will be a lot of jobs for people to come out, maybe internships. I'm telling you, I have big ideas of what's happening here. So talk soon. Bye-bye.
To get more info about running an international business, please visit our website at www.globalfromasia.com. That's www.globalfromasia.com. Also, be sure to subscribe to our iTunes feed. Thanks for tuning in.